Hello guys, today we are going to be doing a full beginner's guide to Xtool Creative Space. I'll throw in a few advanced tips here and there, but this is mostly just going to be the basic Xtool Creative Space for someone who has never done it before, plus some tips that even some pros don't even know. I've been doing laser engraving for about a year now, and my name is Brett. Let's jump right into it. First thing we're going to want to learn how to do, we're going to go over here, and I'm going to teach you all how to just basically create a completely blank rectangle to go, whether it be an outline or something you want to engrave, and then make the size of it. So we're going to go over here and hover over insert, click on rectangle, and then we're basically just going to want to drag to the size we want it. So let's say we want it a little bit big, whatever, right there, but we need a project that's, say we're gonna, well, I have it set in inches right now. The way it'll be actually defaulted into millimeters. The way you change it 2 inches, or in my case, millimeters, you go up to the top left, click on settings, and then right up here, there will be a thing called millimeters. And I guess right now, while we're in here, we should look at some of the options. Auto snapping will also be turned on as default, which is what you can see right here. Auto snapping, basically what it does is, say we have a rectangle, we'll add another rectangle here, right? And it's kind of how to, as you can see, it kind of forces you to do certain things, so it's like it doesn't really want you to move away. It takes more mouse pressure to do that. We're going to delete that rectangle we just made. But it basically just helps to align things, but sometimes it can be a little bit of a hassle. It's great for beginners, though. So I would leave auto snapping on unless you have a very specific project you want to do with it off, which I currently am working on another engraving, as you can see in the bottom left corner, but we'll get to that later. So yeah, we're in millimeters now. And then, obviously, if you want your thing to be inches, whatever, you change it back and forth. It's all personal preference. I've gotten used to millimeters, even though where I live, inches is what we use. But we're going to set this to about 240 millimeters wide, which that will be approximately close to a foot, probably. No, not close to a foot. Maybe like a little bit over 7 or 8 inches. Close, and then about 86 millimeters high. That's just for context. That'll be about right there, rectangle. And then another thing we can do here, that now that we've got our rectangle, we're going to talk about power. Xtool, I use the Xtool D1 Pro. You're going to get your machine all set up, everything. And Xtool will just lead you through that. If you guys want me to, leave a comment down below. I'll do a tutorial on that sometime too, I guess. But, as you guys can see, I've got my Xtool D1 Pro connected up right here. Oh, actually, never mind. My thing is in the way. Let me move that quick. Now I have the Xtool D1 Pro logo right there, as you guys can see, that I have connected. And then I'm going to move that right, oh, my bad. I'm going to move this right back over here. And so that's just kind of how you can tell whether your device is connected or not. And then basically what I was going to say is, here where it says user-defined material, Xtool's got a very cool kind of library of all of the bunch of different materials that specifically your machine can do. There's a few that aren't on here that I've figured out settings that you can actually do with the D1 Pro, but for my engraving just finished, so it'll give you that message. But for the vast majority of the time, you're going to want to just kind of stick to these unless you're more experienced and know your machine well. But you can search for materials, whatever. And then if you just want all the materials or support it only, you can toggle that on and off. But say I want to engrave a stone coaster, which is what I was actually just recently doing, right? It'll go right there. We'll go right here. And then to cut, you see how it'll just do 1/16, which obviously 1 power 16 speed is nothing, and that basically just means cutting slate isn't supported. But if we go to here to engrave, it's going to turn the whole thing blue because it's basically saying it wants to engrave the whole thing from the top to the bottom, everything in between. It just makes it all that one color. Or if we just wanted the outline of the rectangle, we could click score. And what that'll basically do is just make a rectangle outline here that will just look like an outline, basically. And you can set the thickness of that and all that and whatever. But on normal materials here, let's go to 3mm plywood, right? That's perfect. We'll click right here. Then if we go to cut, it'll give us our power and speed. 100 speed, 3 power, engrave, 70, 120. I personally like to use 80, 120 on that type of wood, but just stick with the defaults and just see kind of what works for you and play off of that and whatever. When you're first starting, well, we're going to stick this to score because it's kind of annoying. Now that we've got our outline, right, or whether we cut or engrave, like cut that shape out or engrave it, or score it, now we can add something inside of it. Say we'll import a little image here. We're going to go to downloads. We can import, this little elk image right here. See? And then so now that we've got an image imported, I'm going to show you guys some tips with images. If you guys want to shave down like this one's actually pretty good here, but like the white inside of it, basically, right? How it's sticking out a little bit past on either side. Some of them will be really bad and have white out a lot further. So what you're going to have to do for that is there's one of two things you can do is you can go to edit image. And so basically once you click on a color, it'll remove all of it. See, I just removed the black. I'm going to go here. And this is your undo and redo button up here. And so I'm going to undo that and it'll take me back one step. But I want to remove the white. See, I don't know if y'all can see. I'll zoom in a little bit. But how it's not transparent, it's not showing this in the background, it's actually white. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on the white, and it's going to basically remove it for me. Well, we still got this little shutter stock down here and that little line. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to click on this eraser. Boom. Gone. Absolutely. Make sure you click save your image, otherwise it won't save your progress. And where'd my little image go? There it is. All right, so now we're going to drag that up a little bit, and we're going to make it, to change size, you just kind of drag right there, whatever. And it messes up the image if you do this, but if you guys want to actually make it skinnier or taller or whatever, and cut off things, right, you go to edit image and crop. That's how you crop, and this is kind of just oh my gosh. Edit imaging like deals. I'm sorry, I didn't even show you guys. That little magic wand right there is how I did that. Take out the color deal. And then the eraser. That's the eraser that I erased with. And then this is just cropping. So we're going to go ahead, and since this is not an actual project, I'm just showing you guys. I'll crop right there. See, now that part of our image is gone. So if I go to undo, there we go. So now we've got the background of our image removed. And we've got it cropped up a little bit to how we want it. So now we're going to size it around, whatever. And as I was saying, the other thing you guys can do to actually stretch it or make it skinnier is see how the size up here? Click unlock. And it'll make it look goofy. See, it's squishing it all up or extending it weird. But that's kind of just how you can actually make different images, like actually different sizes, right? We're going to move out of. And one thing keep in mind with Xtool Creative Space is if you have an outline, it's hard to click on the image. You have to get on like a little area. And I'm just going to go ahead and do undo because I don't especially want to have my image looking like this. Fairly normal size right there. We're going to size this down to fit inside of the rectangle. And then now what we're going to want to do is for whatever material, you set your power right here. Okay. Just make the design. And then another thing to note is the rectangle. You do the unlock thing like the outline. That won't actually, squish it, make it weird. That'll actually just help you, make it different sizes. But with the images, it's just like the size it's actually supposed to be, can be a little bit different than what you want. So you can squish it and whatever, but it makes it look weird, as I said. And so now we've got our perfect little outline here, our image. And then I'm going to show y'all something really cool that most people don't know. And actually, I don't know how well this image will work because I took the background out of it. But most images, I can import another one if it doesn't work. But basically, there's the mountains there, everything, see? And say you want to cut that shape out. Yeah, it won't work, you're right. So you click on the image, go up here to outline. And I see, since I removed the background or whatever, it looks super wonky. So we're just going to cancel that and import an image that I can do an outline on. Ooh, perfect. Here we go. So, if it gives you this message, just say yes, scale it to fit on canvas. It was like originally made weird. So we're going to actually go ahead and take the background out of this one as well. and we're going to move that up there, and we are going to go up here, click outline, and it'll do an outline of the outside. And by default, it'll be 2, I think. You just got to click 0, and that'll give you an exact outline of your image. And there you go. See, if you don't want it engraved and you actually just want it cut out, like I'm just going to make a little deal here, where it's just cut, right? So then you can place that in there or do really whatever, because this is practically just what I did with the rectangle, just a cut outline. And then, like I'm just going to show you just like a project you guys can basically do right here. You got your outline of an image, and now we're going to go into text. We're going to click on text, put whatever you want, we're just going to stick with hello, I guess. Then we're going to go down here. I like this typeface, specifically for this kind of project. It looks good when set to engrave. And then we can go right here. So now we've got our text. You guys know how to change fonts. Sometimes on specific fonts, there will be different, like bold, italic styles there. But for this one, we're just going to basically, and then this is how, so it's weird. On text, this will appear completely randomly, like in the whole image. Sometimes you'll find this little button to like bend the text, basically, or like curve it in the most random places. Like sometimes it'll be in the middle there and you have to drag it and whatever. But in my specific case, it's where it should actually be, and it's on the outside right here, perfectly accessible. And we're going to move this in, and then we're going to basically rotate the text. So text sizing is the same as all the other things, and you can do the unlock. Again, makes it wonky. But if you grab this little thing up here, that's going to basically allow you to rotate it. And so I'm going to rotate this up and make it the shape and size of the neck, because this is just a little project. I'm just going to show y'all. Boom. There we go. That looks not good. But another example is with actually straight. It's down here. Size it up a little bit. Bam. Fit it right there. Bend it a little bit. Perfect. See? Now you got your little project. And then if you really wanted to get creative, I've been playing around with this a little bit too, is you can set that also to cut. So there will be the cutout of the elk, and then the little cutout of the hello, or whatever text you choose, obviously. And one thing I forgot to mention is this is basically just where you manage your text. See, like that's just kind of the type box, whatever. Keep in mind, some text fonts will be caps locked actually. So you'll be wondering why. Like I think I might even have caps lock on right now, but yeah, I did. Okay, so normal text, just like say you're typing BB outdoors, right? That's my YouTube channel. We're gonna go down here, and this is a specific one I know that is actually caps lock. See? Right here. I downloaded this font. That's actually not in XCS, but there's lots that are in Xtool Creative Space that are just caps lock for some reason. But I don't know that you can turn that off. Lightburn would be a good software to use for that, but I personally have never used Lightburn. They say it comes with your Xtool free, something like that. I never downloaded it. I've always just worked with Xtool Creative Space. I'm kind of a veteran at this specific software, and I know my way around it pretty well. And so that's kind of why I'm doing this tutorial, is because I want to share with you guys what I know personally and help you guys out. But yes, we're just going to delete that text. We don't really need it on here anymore. Actually, we can just have it for reference. Yeah, I spelled it right. Good. So we're going to keep that right there. We got this. We got that. We've learned how to manage images. We've learned how to do backgrounds, background removal, trimming, all that sort of stuff. Now the next thing I'm going to teach you guys. If you guys have an advanced, actually, you know what, I'm going to throw in a better image for this specifically. I'll do it like a picture of me holding one of the signs I made. Again, display it to be on canvas. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of editing, like a little editing course. Edit right here. Obviously, as I showed you earlier, I'm going to take this little black out on the bottom here. Got to kind of be careful. Or actually, you know what? An easier way to do this would just be to actually trim it up. Boom. Yeah, that looks about good. See, I took the bottom out of there. Now we got that. And I'm going to teach you guys what bitmapping is. So Bitmapping is basically the way that a laser will process the specific image that's in full color normally. If you put it like, and a good way to check, because I actually like using the stock bitmap, or basically if you hover over it, it'll say original right there. I like using that because it gives me the most contrast, gives me the most actual different grays and whites for the engraving, and blacks for the engraving. And a good way to check whether or not it'd be good to use this one, or actually I'll go through some of the other ones. This one, grid, I really don't know what it's good for. It makes the image look wonky, I guess, in some sorts of images it might look good, and situations, everything is situational, right? Sketch, that one looks occasionally good. If you guys can see, it gives me good contrast, whatever. But it has issues. A lot of issues. See right there, just different pixelated stuff. And then but we're going to go to original, and then we got comic 2. That one looks pretty good. You can just get these little lines and whatever, and it all depends on the image too. This one's just strange. I mean, I could understand, like, there's some really cool projects you can do with, like, kind of 3D popping looking deals. I've done that a few times to make it pretty much just look like it's coming out at you. Chat, I know you think that looks 3D, like, because it does. And then I'm gonna size down my camera a little bit just so y'all can see some of the tools I'm using. All right, but that's all right for situational type stuff. And then we're gonna go to black and white. This on certain images is what I use. I use a mixture of original and black and white, because if I'm doing a more simplistic image, like not as advanced as this, I like to use black and white because it basically doesn't give me any grays or weird stuff like that. It just gives me black and white, right? Which is great for some projects. But what we're going to do is basically see, we don't know what our laser is going to do with this picture right now. It just looks in full color, and obviously some engravers can. But most engravers, specifically Xtools, most of them can't do color. And unless you like dye the image, that's a whole other thing even I haven't gotten into. But we're going to go here and click on process. Oh, my bad. So basically, another thing is if it says elements out of the design area, and we don't want to use these elements out here, right? We're just like trying to check essentially what like this will look like. And we're not doing it on the laser. There's ways to check without actually just running it, looking how it looks, because that'd be a waste of wood. We're going to go over here, and this works for many other things too. It's a super helpful tool if you're doing like different stuff, setting things to ignore. You can have things built off to the side for mass producing and everything, or literally anything. Click set to ignore. And that's why I was saying designs out of the processing space, is because this square right here is your processing space, essentially. And this is the image we want to use, so we're going to keep that inside of our processing space. And then these ones we don't want right now, or we don't want to check what they'll look like, so we set them to ignore, not output. And then this one right here is output. And then we're going to go to process, preparing for preview. It should take sooner than this. I don't know why mine is taking a while. Right, we'll go back and we'll try this again, because this should not be doing that. Anyway, it'll load here in just a second, and what it'll basically do is preparing, like, the image is pretty, like, advanced, so it's just, yep, see? Do you, like, my laser will actually print the grays, like that is what it'll look like. This will be kind of a lighter black, dark thing, like that'll be gray. Everything will be literally exactly as it looks on wood, which is what I think is so cool about the process. Like when you click, and then from here you can go to framing, right? And you press the button on your laser. Like it all depends on the laser or whatever, but you just press the button or do whatever it tells you there, and you frame it, and then this is how you actually start it, the project. Once you're ready, once you've got everything in here that you want, you just click start. In my case, I use the D1 Pro, so I press the button down on the thing, and it'll either frame or go, whichever one I choose. And then this right here, you can move around your laser head. You can like do stuff. I don't use that to move around your laser head. It's completely pointless. Literally just use your hand. Just move around your laser head with your hand. And then this one's really handy too. If you're trying to frame something from the center, like like it's a circle or something like that. Change it from top left framing, which means it'll frame or I mean in your guys' camera. Zoom, 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 like that. And then like so on. This is top, middle, whatever. I like to frame this for circles because obviously it's just the middle and it's not super easy to find, but it's pretty good. And this picture, actually, I'm going to give you a little background. I actually run a business. I don't just do this for fun. This is not just a hobby. I run a full-time business. If y'all are interested in any products of mine, I know you're probably watching this video because you have a laser, but I guess I'll advertise anyway. Brett's Quality Designs on Facebook. I'll leave the link down in the bio, whatever for you guys, but let's get right back into the video. There's my image. See, framing, we've gone over all that. We're going to go back into Xtool Creative Space because I have no use to engrave this picture right now. I just wanted to show you kind of the bit mapping and different settings and everything. For advanced images, 8150 is fine. I like to use 8120. It gives it a little bit more defined look in the actual, like when it turns out on wood, it gives it a more defined look. And that's why I like using the 81, I guess this is the default. Y'all can try it out. I haven't really tried out the 8150. I just kind of went to trying different things, and the 8120 worked out best for me. I will do a test on 8150, and I'll get back to you guys, but not in this video. And so then this basically, you can adjust the sharpness of the image. It's really goofy looking. Well, actually, that doesn't look so bad. Normally, it's goofy looking. Basically, that will be weird, and then yeah, this is just as my laser will do it, and that max sharpness looks good on this image. Normally it'll just make it look all really weird and wonky, but yeah, so that's basically that. And now we're gonna go into how to do some different things with shapes. Basically right here, I know it just says shape, but that's where you can get a lot of different whatevers. And then now for how to find images. Literally just go on to Google, look up, let's say, dirt bike pictures. Or if you guys want an outline, dirt bike outline. Or another thing that works well sometimes is dirt bike silhouette. And dirt bikes are just my favorite thing, so that's why I'm doing that, whatever. That's just an example, obviously. You can do that with really anything. But basically, yeah, so that's with that. And then now we're going to go into, I mean, we've already gone over the engraving, score, whatever, everything. So thank you guys for watching. See y'all later.